Well, good morning, everyone. This is Steve Hall, and very excited that we're going to be beginning this webinar here in just a few minutes. So I'm actually using a new technology called Webinar Jam. It's kind of an interesting platform, and so kind of excited to see how that works for you. I only have a single screen on my computer, so I might be switching screens back and forth. So you might see my presentation, or you might see me clicking around a little bit here just to kind of get a feel for how this system works. So I hear it's a very cool program, and I'm excited to get a chance to use it and see how it works with everybody here on this webinar today. So if you're in the room yet, if you want, on the right-hand side, if you just want to go ahead and chat and say, hey, I can hear you, I can see you, I can see your screen, that would be awesome. We'll be getting starting here in just a few minutes. So like I say, I know that we are live here a little bit early, but I personally would rather be early than late, and so I thought I'd jump online and start seeing who comes into the room here, and for us to chat about the real estate business. So really excited to be able to spend some time with you today and talk with you about what's happening in real estate and maybe some of the things that we can do with you in the real estate world. So well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. This is Steve Hall, and I'm very excited to be able to have a chance to talk with you about professional real estate training. I think we put together an amazing program at truly an amazing cost, and I am totally stoked that you're here going to be spending some time with me over the next few minutes learning more about real estate in terms of finding more funding and buyers and deals and what's happening in the market today. As you know, the real estate industry is changing pretty much on a daily basis. So what I like to do is to really stay on top of it. I am an active real estate investor and trainer and coach, and I'm just extremely excited that you are here and going to be sharing this information with me today. It's going to be an amazing experience, and so and at the end we'll talk about what the offer is in terms of working with us in terms of increasing your real estate business. So you might be a brand new person who maybe saw something on TV or got something in the email about real estate investing, and now I see all these people on TV about wholesaling programs and this and that and the other. And so, and for $2,000, $5,000, whatever, come check us out. There's a lot of programs that are out there. You might be a seasoned investor. You might have a lot of deals under your belt and have an interest in getting more deals done. As an agent or broker, today's market is really, the biggest challenge is finding the deals, right? It's finding those deals that you can get under contract, you can get those listings going, and to bring more money to your bottom line. And so I think it's extremely critical to know what the cutting edge is. What are some of the ways that you can find to bring more sellers to the table for you to bring more deals to your bottom line? And so we'll be talking about that here in just a second. So again, thanks for spending this time with me this morning. I'm looking forward to sharing some information with you. I'm using a new technology. It's called Webinar Jam, and so I'm going to be switching screens back and forth a little bit. If you have any questions on the right-hand side, feel free to go ahead and chat. They are private questions coming to me. While I'm going through the content here, I may or may not be able to answer those questions immediately, but I will certainly, at the end of the presentation here, I'll go through and make sure they answer all the questions that you do have. So, again, really excited to be able to share this information with you. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get this party started, shall we? So, again, welcome to the Professional Real Estate Training Program. Just a quick introduction. My name is Steve Hall. I am the principal of Fine Fast Real Estate. We've been in business for quite a few years now, primarily focused on the real estate investing side, but I've worked with and coached a number of licensees, a number of agents and brokers throughout the nation. I'm a published author. I've got a number of books that are out and available, and I am a nationally recognized professional real estate coach and trainer. I've been actually I've been in the coaching and training world since 1989, and then I got involved with real estate part-time in the mid-90s, and then I went full-time real estate investing and coaching in 2005. So I've been doing this for almost 9 years now, full-time. I've literally trained thousands of students nationwide who we've done millions of dollars of deals. And you'll see some of the people I work with. I've been extremely fortunate to work with some of these people. Off to the right-hand side, you'll probably recognize Paula Sajan and J.D. Sajan from the TV show Flip This House. Of course, Stan Merrill, he's one of the stars of that show as well. Brendan Bouchard, he's an amazing person. I just connected with him recently and went through a high-performance coaching certification program with him. What I like about Brendan, he talks about taking your technical expertise and making it tactical and practical to the world. And so that's what I brought to the program that I'm introducing to you here today. It really is something that I think will absolutely blow your socks off. You probably recognize Damon John from Shark Tank. Connected with him recently as well. He's a really cool guy. I mean, he's totally cool. I got to spend some time with him and his people, and so yeah, I've had the great fortune to work with some really amazing folks. And so that's who I am, and what I bring to the table is real-world experience. So it's not like a lot of these people who have read a book, maybe done a deal a few years ago, that type of thing. My stuff is highly tactical and practical. That what I talk about and teach and partner with my students is what is working today, and I think that's utmost critical in terms of making sure that your valuable time, that you're rewarded for your valuable time and expertise. So I want to talk about these are the 6 primary areas that we focus on in the professional real estate training. Is the first of all finding deals, and right, and especially for licensees, for agents and brokers and investors, right? It's finding deals. And so today's market is really crazy. I mean, the market, we bottomed out in 2007-8, and things started picking back up, and now with interest rates still at a record low. Gosh, I heard on the radio yesterday about getting a 30-year fix for 3% and change, 3.25%. I mean, that's extremely low. So there's a lot of pent-up demand for people looking for properties, not only to buy them, to rehab them, invest in them, but also to move into them as well. So there's just a ton of people out there. I think this last year, nationwide, over 40% of the deals done throughout the nation were cash buyers. There were people that wanted to buy properties, and now properties are really at a screaming deal. And if you've gone to try and get a property that's been listed, chances are you probably have bumped up and heard about the multiple offers and probably got outbid by a number of people. It's really it's been difficult to find really great deals for investors and deals for agents and brokers to get listings on there into their system. And so I spend a lot of time. One of our sessions, our first session, is talking about how to find the deals, how to find the motivated sellers, and actually get them to call you, right? So, hey, I know there's a lot of real estate coaches that have been out in the market for a long period of time, and I hear farm to farm and door knocking and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not a big fan of door knocking. I'm not a big fan of going up to somebody who may or may not be a highly motivated seller and show up unexpectedly and try and engage them. So I've got some tools and techniques that are really amazing that you can get to by certain sellers, and for them to actually call you, for them to want for you to come over and talk with them about potentially listing their property. It's a really amazing tool. Finding buyers, and I think this is ultimately one of the most critical aspects in the real estate business is finding the buyers. And so, again, as an agent or broker, right, as you get your listings, you want to make sure that you've got a buyer's pipeline filled up, whether they're investor buyers or retail buyers or what have you. You want to have those systems, those funnels set up that you're getting fed buyers on a daily basis. As a real estate investor, again, if you're looking at wholesaling deals or rehabbing and then selling retail, again, you certainly want to make sure that your buyers list is continually growing. And so I spend a whole session on really how to cultivate and to bring more buyers into your platform. I also go into finding funding, and so a lot of times I'll get this feedback from agents, brokers. I don't necessarily need to focus on that, and I come back as well. If you're looking to sell a property to a retail purchaser, it's good to have a mortgage broker or funding source in place that you can actually get that deal done. And so what I try and do is, as I'm going through real estate deals, I try and package them up to make them as easy as possible for my buyers to take the properties down. So I'm not in scramble mode. I don't have buyers coming to me saying I'm not qualified, or I don't know who to go to, or I don't know how to put this thing together. And so my thought is finding funding and putting together your power team, and your funding sources are part of your power team to be able to do that. So that way you can make sure that once you get a listing, if you got funding sources, you might be able to double end a deal. And right in most states throughout the U.S., it's a 3% on the buyer side and 3% on the seller side for the listing agent or broker. And so if you're able to bring in a buyer, get them qualified, you might have an opportunity of taking down an additional 3% just because you've got your funding sources set up. So I think that's vitally important. The next section I go into are systems and automation. So chances are, if you've been on this webinar, you're probably in the space where you want to learn more, you want to grow more, and you probably have read a lot of books and been to a lot of webinars and that type of thing. I think for me, this is one of the biggest aha moments for me getting involved in coaching and training in real estate is systems and automation. And so learning how to do deals, buyers and funding, finding all that stuff, that's great. But what I really want to do is to get you to a point where you learn it, you document it, and then you outsource it so you can put it into a system or an automation format that you don't have to do this on a daily basis. So I just want you to imagine for a second if you could learn some amazing ways to find some incredible deals, right? And then and some really killer techniques in terms of finding buyers, and then lining up your funding. And then once you've got all that in place, now you outsource it to a virtual assistant or somebody in your office to be able to manage that and be able to free up your time for you to spend more time finding more deals, finding more buyers, finding more funding. So it really is a way to accelerate your real estate business, no matter what area of real estate business that you're in. And so I talk about systems and automation, and to be able to, you don't have to work in your business 10, 12, 14 hours a day. I want you to learn the process and the techniques and strategies that I have, but then to be able to outsource that so you can spend more time with family, with friends, be able to spend more quality time with your buyers, with your sellers, and really make those deals happen. And so that's a huge portion of this program. Wholesaling. So for investors, again, like I say, I see this on TV, especially now, the last few weeks. Wholesaling, buy my program, buy my program. Well, there are some good ones out there, and there are some bad ones out there. And I can tell you that I have personally spent probably $150,000 or more going through a lot of trainings through a lot of gurus throughout the nation. And so I think I've developed a number of personal ways to be able to show you how to wholesale deals quickly and efficiently, more so than just about anybody else that I can think of here in the U.S. And so we'll spend time in wholesaling. Now, I think wholesaling is important for licensees to understand as well. I will tell you, especially when I first got started in the business full-time in 2005, I heard wholesaling, that's illegal, that's illegal. It's like, no, it's not. As long as you're disclosing what you're doing, that's good. And so if you're a licensee, I want to be able to show you how the wholesaling system of this program works, so then when you're looking for buyers and you're finding investor buyers, you understand what they're doing, how they're doing it, and that it is completely legal. The last thing I want you to do is to get a phone call from DRE and saying, hey, you're doing something illegal, blah, blah, blah. I don't want that to happen to you. So I think it's important for you to do that, as well as, you might be a licensee and might be interested in taking down some deals yourself. So obviously you have to disclose that you're a licensee, but you might find some screaming deals that you can wholesale as well and be able to make some extra cash, more than what you might as a licensee. And I'll show you an example of that here in just a second. And then the last session here is rehabbing. And so I'm going to go through, I'll spend some time with you and showing you some systems and strategies and techniques to be able to rehab homes very efficiently, to be able to walk through a property within about 15 minutes and figure out plus or minus about 5% of what that rehabbing cost is going to be, and then be able to figure that out into your number in order for you to take down the deal. So again, if you're agent, broker, or investor, and you're looking at doing the rehabbing side of the business, I want to show you how you can do that fast and effectively, and again, to be able to learn that process and then outsource it. So the last thing I want you to do is to be swinging a paintbrush, turning a screwdriver, because that's not your highest and best value use of your time. So I'm going to show you some of the systems that I've used in the past in terms of rehabbing that have been extremely, extremely effective. And so with that being said, I want to go through really just a few quick examples of some of the properties that we've done. So this is the first house is Kernion Court in Mountain House. It was a short sale wholesale deal. And so people laugh. I tell them, so this is, I purchased this home. This is what it looked like when I bought it, and this is what it looked like when I sold it. So I want you to take a look at it and see what I've done here. This is when I purchased the house, and then this is what it looked like when I sold it. Okay? So let me show you again. This is what the house looked like. This is the master bath, what it looked like when I bought it. And this is what it looked like when I sold it, right? So obviously I didn't do a damn thing to it, right? They're the same pictures. So this was a short sale wholesale deal, and I want to show you the numbers because I think this will really bring the light in terms of the value of what I want to show you in my real estate training program. So here are the numbers for this property. The borrower actually paid or owed $440,000 on this property. It's a quite large property. It's in Northern California, east of San Francisco. I think it was a four-bedroom, three-bath property. It was a really nice house, as you saw the pictures there. So the borrower owed $440,000 on the property. I was able to get the short sale accepted from the lender at $205,000, so more than half of what was owed on the property. All right. I put $0 in rehab, right? So I got the short sale done and I wholesaled the property. It cost me $18,500 in transactional costs. So I bought the property, I turned around, I sold it in 3 hours for $252,000. $252,500. I sold it in 3 hours. So what I did was I set up the system where I found the property from the motivated seller, negotiated the deal with the lenders to get it down to the 205 number, and while I was doing that, I found a buyer for the property. So I was able to find the buyer at a higher price than the number that was accepted at the bank. So I personally closed on this property at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then I turned around and I sold it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and my net profit on that was $29,000. Now, people say, oh, that's illegal, you can't do that, you can't do that. Well, so let me tell you a couple things about this deal. First of all, this one was kind of fun in that the lender for the $440,000, who the seller who owed that money owed it to a certain financial institution, and then the buyer of the property for $252,000 was using the exact same lender. It was the same lender, so probably not working with the same people, right? But it was the same company. And so what I'm telling you is that these transactions are possible. They are legal. The key thing is to be able to disclose that you are buying it as an investor and that you're looking to rehab the property. You might rehab it, you might not, and that you're looking to sell it for a profit. And so there are certain systems and ways to do this in order to make sure that you are legal, ethical, moral about it, and especially if you're a licensee, again, you need to make sure that you're disclosing the right information to the lenders, saying that that you're either listing the property and or buying the property, and this is what you're doing with it. But again, this is absolutely 100% legal, and yeah, that was a nice nice chunk of change, $29,000. I personally think that on this one property, I probably put in about 12 hours of work. So yeah, that's probably not a bad hourly rate on that particular deal. So here's a property in San Diego, and you're gonna be amazed about this property. So landed in San Diego. I was going to a training session down there, and I got a phone call from one of my lead generation sources for finding deals. And this person called me up and said, "Hey, I got this house for sale," and they said it was they wanted to sell the property for $69,000. And if you're familiar with San Diego, a house for $69,000, you're like, what? Yeah, in a lot of properties in California, I mean that's usually an earnest money deposit. But yeah, well, let me show you the property here real quick. So this was the kitchen. Yeah, the actually the property was condemned. An elderly lady had lived there. She had about 40 cats and had some major issues. She had some major health issues that her kids had to put her into an assisted living facility, and they had to get the cats out. And then the house caught on fire, and it was a crazy property. Here's the master bath. Yeah, okay. You're kind of getting the idea of why it was listed for $69,000, right? So, so here's what it looked like when I bought it, and actually I bought it for less than $69,000, but I want to show you the before and after and what the numbers look like on this property. Again, I want to set off some light bulbs in your head in terms of what's possible in the real estate investing world. So here's the after. One of the things that we did, if you look on the right-hand side, see there was a garage there behind the dumpster. We enclosed that garage and made that a master bedroom. So it went from a 2-bedroom, 1-bath to a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, which really increased my numbers for the sales price. Here's the kitchen before, and we decided to put in some new cabinets and some new flooring. If you look on the left-hand side there where those 2 lights are hanging down, we opened up that wall into the living space, so we made the property look a lot larger. So that was really cool. Here's the master bath, and then this is the our rehab. And so you'll see we put in a jetted tub. A few extra $100, but again, it warranted putting in that extra money based upon the sales price that we had for this property. And so Yeah, these are the two ladies, Sylvia and Claudia, that we worked with in San Diego to put this thing together. And so let's talk about the numbers, and that's really, you know, what we want to get to. Here's the bottom line. So I purchased it for $67,000. I was talking with one of my counterparts in San Diego, and they said, 69, you know, that might be a good price, but get a better deal. Get a better deal. I'm like, what? 69,000? That's a killer price. So went back to the seller and I said, look, I can close in 15 days. Can you give me a better price? And they said, let's do 67. We'll get it done. And so that's what we did. Our rehab costs were $51,000. We held it for about 100 days to get the rehab done on the property, and we sold it for $210,000. And so, again, one of the reasons why I'm going to show you this and talked about the garage is from a 2-bedroom, 1-bath to a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, our price point, our margins went up significantly. In fact, we sold the property and netted $70,000 in 100 days. So again, I think that's a huge number. I mean, obviously that's higher. That one deal in and of itself that we did in 100 days made us more than what the average American does in the U.S. Right? I think the average American makes about $48,000, $49,000. We made $70,000 in 100 days by purchasing that house. Didn't swing a hammer, didn't move a paintbrush, did nothing other than manage the contracting team to get that thing done. So this is a rehab property here in Northern California, San Carlos. This was an REO property. It was on the market for a period of time, and came across this property. It was really functionally funky. I mean, I think it was built in the 60s. Really strange layout. Here's the kitchen. Yep, that's an original kitchen. You know, it had the 4-inch ceramic tile, and it was just really nasty layout here. The one thing I do want you to notice is take a look at the light in the middle, in the background there. Take a look at that light. That's a stainless steel light hanging over where the dining area is. I want to show that to. I want to show you something here in just a minute. That I think you're like, wow, that's kind of cool. Here's the living room. So you'll see the kitchen is on the other side of the fireplace here. The fireplace kind of broke up that living space. It was really, again, a lot of these homes were built in the same format. There's a tract property. The floors were actually in really good shape. I think they were probably redone. And I think the owner was starting to do a little rehab. They were using some standard colors on the wall. This is really funky. This is the master bedroom, which has the master bath right in the middle of it. So you'll see there's the entrance door off the left-hand side. If you walk straight past that, you'd walk right into the bed, and then it had the vanity out in the bedroom, and then the shower, and then the bathroom stall was tucked away behind the sink. Really strange format. So again, here's what the front of the property looked like before. Here's what it looked like after. We used some really cool colors on the property. We used some really interesting treatments to it, which when, again, we get into the rehabbing section of my program, I'll talk about that. Again, here's the kitchen before. So again, watch the light. See? Same light. So what we did was that light was so cool that the decision was made to use that light as part of our design inspiration. And so using all the stainless steel appliances, we used really high-end appliances on this property, more so than any other property that I'm aware of. There's really cool appliances. Solid maple floors, really neat place. Again, here's the living room with the fireplace in it. Took the fireplace out. If you look on the right-hand side, we opened that up, made it a seating bar with 3 chairs there. It was a breakfast nook. Then we had the living room area, surround sound, big screen TV. Here's the master bedroom. So what we did was we set the master bath. I'll show that here in just a second. We put these large windows out here so it overlooks the bay in San Francisco. We had the good fortune of connecting with the neighbors across the street who let us cut the trees down to open up that view. So that's a $1 million view there in and of itself. Master bath. This is my favorite part. I mean, I do love the kitchen, but the master bath I think is really cool. So dual sinks. On the left-hand side, you'll see we put a tub, and then we put an awesome shower. I love the shower system. It's got the shower sprays, the body sprays. It's a digitally programmed system. You can dial in the specific temperature that you want. You'll see the heated towel bar there. This property we went all out on the rehab, and so it was really, really awesome property. So again, the numbers. So this property was purchased for $740,000. Our rehab costs were $135,000. That's a big rehab number, but the rehabs were very extensive, and high-end finishes were used on this property. It sold for over $1 million, $1,049,000, and the net profit on this property was $83,000. And I think this was done in about 6 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So again, as a licensee, right, as an agent or broker, you might not be interested in rehabbing a property, but if you can understand the vision of what a investor buyer, what a I hate to say the word flipper because you know, that using that F word sometimes is not really cool, but looking at investors who want to fix and flip these properties, understanding that process, understanding what they're going through is going to help you from the listing side of it, and it's going to help you from the selling side of it in finding the right rehabbers to come in to take down those properties and buy them from you. And so if you think about it, if you were able to list this property at $740 and instead of getting a 3% commission because you're representing the seller, you get a 6% commission, what would that be? Real quick, I actually haven't figured this out, but 6% of 740 is, well, that's a pretty substantial number. I'm guessing it's what, $45,000. So yeah. So again, the whole premise of you understanding this as a licensee, as an agent or broker, is to know here are, you know, over 40% of the properties were bought by cash buyers this last year, and a lot of those were investor buyers. So if you know what they're looking for, if you can build that buyer's list of investor buyers and be able to get both sides of the deal, that's going to bring more money to your bottom line. And so I think it's a huge key for licensees to understand what that process is, and I walk you through that whole process. So again, the 6 pillars that I'm going to be covering in my training program is finding the deals. So, you know, figuring out different ways that you can find motivated sellers, people who want to talk with you about listing their property with you or selling their property to you as an investor buyer. How to set up and automate finding buyers for your deals. Again, whether they're retail buyers or they're investor buyers, how to set that up so they're coming to you on a daily basis. Finding funding. So what are the different funding options? I talk about, especially on the investor side, if you don't have your funding lined up before you go out and look for the deal, you're going to be challenged. I hear all the time, find the deals and the money will find you. And that might be true if you're looking at properties in certain areas where you can buy houses at $67,000. You might be able to find a deal and then find the funding fairly quickly. But if you're looking at the average home in the U.S. is $150,000, in the Bay Area it's over $600,000. If you're trying to find a deal and think the money will find you in 30 days, good luck. I mean, it's going to be a huge hurdle. And so I suggest to get that funding lined up for you. Again, I think the systems and automation is really key. Do me a favor, write this down. This is a great, great book. I love it. The author is Michael Gerber. And Michael Gerber, he's the author of E-Myth. It's E-Myth. This book was written a number of years ago. You may be able to find it in a Barnes & Noble, or I know you can buy it on Amazon. I personally, I like the CD version because then I can listen to it on my iPhone. But it talks about the importance of not working in your business, but on your business. So, you know, a lot of times agents, brokers, investors work in that technical aspect of it. You know, they're going out and they're finding all the buyers, they're finding all the deals, they're doing all the stuff, and they're working in their business. But really, to escalate and accelerate your personal wealth and to give you more free time is to figure out how it works, document it, and then set it up so you can automate it, so you can step out of your business and then work on your business to be able to develop more and more deals. I can tell you this, the most successful people that I know, they're not doing 1 deal a month, they're not doing 2 deals a month, they're doing 5, 10, 20, Some people I know are doing 100 deals a year. So they're not doing all the parts of the business, right? They've learned the different parts. They've documented it, and now they're outsourcing it to either their own staff, to interns, to virtual assistants, what have you. But they're taking their expertise and then they're outsourcing it so they can use their time to find more deals, to spend more time with their family and friends and loved ones, to really be able to get out of that daily grind. And so systems and automation is huge, absolutely huge, and it's one of my favorite modules that I'd love to talk about. Again, wholesaling. I've developed some certain strategies and techniques on how to wholesale deals fairly quickly and easily. Things that you're not going to find from anybody else. You'll, like I said before at the beginning of this presentation, you'll see people on TV. You'll hear people on the radio. You'll get emails about wholesale programs, $97, blah blah blah. But I can tell you this is that they're not going to be sharing the information that at the level that I'm going to be sharing it with you. And then rehabbing. So again, if you're an investor, I want to be able to cover the rehabbing aspect of how to rehab houses properly. If you're a licensee or a broker, I want to be able to show you how the rehabbing side of the business works from a systematic standpoint, and then also for you to understand that so you know as you're talking with investor buyers what they're looking at, the numbers that they're looking at, and what they're looking at doing in order for you to close the deals with them. So I think that's really, really a major key. So my entire program is six weekly online training programs. So every week I'll be getting online live with you and going through each one of these modules. I'll be doing live Q&A on each webinar. So I'll cover the content for that day. We'll go through all the information, and then any questions or concerns, I will answer those questions live for you for as long as it takes. And then at the end of each session, I'll have specific tasks assigned and follow-up calls with each partner of ours. And so, yeah, students, partners, we're actually going to talk a little bit more about partnership here in just a moment. But I want to be very involved with you. I'm not looking to sell another training program. I'm not looking to sell you CDs or books or tapes or video or anything like that. What I'm trying to do is I want to partner with you, either get your first deal done, to get an extra deal done this month, over the next 90 days, what have you. So so many times, and I'm looking at my bookshelf right now, I'm guilty of this too, right? I buy a program and I throw it up on the book and the cellophane is still on it. And we call that, in the business, we call it shelf help, because we haven't done a damn thing with it. And so I'm not looking to work with people who are looking for shelf help. I'm looking for people who are doers. So if you get involved with me, I'm going to be talking with you to make sure that things are happening for you, because I want you to be completely and totally satisfied with our engagement. So here's the offer, and I'll tell you this up front. I don't know if you've had a chance, maybe you've gone to different live events in your area, maybe you've seen things online, what have you. I can tell you right now that there are people who have paid $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000. I know one program that's over $50,000 to go through the entire real estate training program to talk about rehabbing, wholesaling, funding, private lending, the whole nine yards. I mean, the numbers are absolutely astronomical. I'm not looking to do that. I'm not looking to make $1 billion off of this. What I'm looking to do is to engage with people to change their lives. And so I'm going to give you an absolutely screaming deal if you decide to engage with me. And what I'm going to do right now, today, if you're interested in getting involved with me, this is I'm going to be offering this for $797. So that is so cheap. That's so inexpensive. If you think about this, as an agent or broker, if I'm able to show you just on the listing side of it, if I can show you how to get just one extra listing this year, not in 90 days, not in 30 days, if I can get you one extra listing this year, what would that value be worth to you? my guess is it would be way more than $797. My guess is, and again, if we're going off the 3% listing fee, and the average home is 150 grand, that's probably $4,500 in your pocket. So, but I'm not looking to get you just one extra listing this year. I know this, that throughout the nation, active agents typically list on average about 6 properties a year. That's the average. I can tell you that with one of the techniques that I'll be covering with you in finding motivated sellers, that I've got an agent who is getting 5 listings a month. 5 listings a month. And so, I don't know, if you're average, my guess is you're probably not average, but maybe you're twice as good as average. Maybe you're getting 1 listing a month. Maybe. But if I'm able to show you how to get an extra listing a month, what would that equate to you from a dollar standpoint? Again, that's going to be way more than $797. So just that one module in finding motivated sellers and having them call you and getting a listing out of that deal, I think is huge, absolutely huge. Now, if $797 is a big number for you, you know, if you're just getting into the real estate industry and you're interested in finding out about it, and that seems like a big number, what I will do is I'll break it up into 3 payments of $297, and that'll be stretched over a 3-month period. So I want to make this as easy as possible for as many people to get into the program. Now, I do have a certain limit in terms of who I'm going to allow into the program, but I want to make this super, super easy. Now, if you do the one-time payment, you're going to save about $200. So, again, if you're an agent or broker, a seasoned investor, $797 is probably going to be nothing to you. Save the couple $100, take your significant other out to dinner, take them out on me, okay? But if you don't have the $797, let's break it up in 3 payments, and we'll go from there. So again, I'm not looking to get rich off of this. I'm looking to change people's lives. And so now I talk about here's more. So I'm going to throw in some additional things into this as well. So I'm going to provide continued email support after the 6 weeks of training for 1 full year. So after the 6 weeks, if you have any questions or concerns or what have you, if you want to email those over to us, I want to give you 1 full year of email support. So you might have a certain question about, well, I'm not sure. Should I buy this item from Lowe's, or should I buy it from Home Depot, or you know, I'm going to be wholesaling a deal and I need to figure out the right escrow or closing agent. You know, there might be some times that you've got some questions on an ongoing basis. So I'm going to provide you access to us for 1 full year. I'm also going to have you available on our live webinars for 1 full year. So after the 6 weeks, if you've got any questions or concerns, or you just want to keep up on what's going on, I will give you access to our webinars for 1 full year. $1,000, again, I think I'm undervaluing that number, but it looks good on screen, right? So that's what I'm calling it. I think it's worth a lot more than that. Now, my team and I think this is huge, my team and I will personally partner with you to get your first deal done. I call it DWY. Do it with you. And what that means is this, is that, again, I'm not looking to sell a bunch of material to you. I'm not looking to just sell a program to you and to make money off of that. What I'm looking to do is for you to be engaging, for you to really change your life, to change your real estate business. Yeah, it's great, and you know, bringing more money into what I call HIP National Bank. Yeah, that's absolutely huge. But the reason you're doing that is because you want to spend more time with your family. You want to spend more time with your friends. You want to have, you know, that financial freedom. You want to have that ability to be able to set this thing up, automate it, and be able to spend more time with the ones that you want to spend more time with, right? So I think it's critical to be with you side by side. So yeah, initially, it's more of a coaching relationship, but as we go through this program, I want to be standing next to you to take you, to lead you through your first deal or your first listing or your first additional listing, what have you. I want to make sure that you actually get true value out of the money that you invest with me. I talk about, I have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So I'm going to tell this to you right up front. If you're not absolutely blown away, the first session is going to absolutely blow your socks off in terms of having motivated sellers call you, want you to come over and talk with them about where they are. Again, I don't know of hardly any other program that's out there that will do that. After you go through the 6 weeks, if you go, hey, Steve, I didn't learn a damn thing new, you tell me that. You call me up, you email me and say, no, wasn't worth it for me, send me my money back. And I will absolutely do that, because I'm not looking. I don't have people out there saying, this is terrible, I wasted my money, I didn't learn anything new. That's not the person who I am. That's not the business that I run. So I have 100% satisfaction guarantee. After the 6 weeks, if you say, hey, this thing wasn't worth it for me, you let me know, and I'll get that money right back to you faster than you've ever seen before. So again, here's the offer for a one-time price, $797, and if you want to break it up, it's $297 over a 3-month period, and I'm happy to do that as well. So again, I'm looking for doers, I'm not looking for sayers. So just a quick recap here, and the 6 live webinars, retail value is $997 if you figure out the 3-month payments, $997. The continued email support over the year is $1,000. The live questions answered on webinar, again, I think that's undervalued at $1,000. My team and I will partner with you to get your first deal done, or to work with you to get your listings up and running quick, using our system. I think that's worth $10,000. Like I say, I know programs that charge $25,000 to $50,000. So $10,000 I think is a way undervalued number. Finding and getting your real estate business to the next level, I think, is priceless. And so again, can you go to Barnes & Noble and buy a book for $30 and learn it? Yeah, maybe. But you're not going to learn the automation. You're not going to learn the strategies and techniques to be able to get your system to an extreme level by buying a $30 book. What you need to do is to connect with somebody like me as a mentor that's been there, that's done that, to say, here are the systems, here are the programs, here's the software, here's what you need to do in order to learn this process, to document it, and then outsource it, so you can free up more of your time to have that financial freedom that you're looking for. So if you add all these up, I think I did the math on this, right? Yeah, $12,097. Again, I think that's a screaming deal. If you looked at some of the deals that I showed you earlier, you'd make that on the first deal. That first deal I showed you, $29,000 came to the bottom line. So that would be that times 3, right? Again, the price is $797 one time, or 3 payments of $297. Again, 100% satisfaction guarantee. So one last thing. So I'm going to cap this to only 1,000 members. That's the maximum amount that we can really handle within my organization. So it's not a scarcity tactic. I'm not here to try and push your buttons and say, oh, it's a limited time only, that type of thing. I can only do it for 1,000 people throughout the nation. So if you're interested in this program, as you can tell in my voice, I'm totally lit up about it. It's changed people's lives. I can think of a young couple in Texas who I connected with a number of years ago, took them through the program, showed them how to do the right strategies and techniques in the real estate world, and within 6 months they both quit their full-time jobs and are now doing real estate. They're loving life. They have their own schedule now, and it was an amazing transformation. So again, I am only limiting this to 1,000 people. So if you are interested, here is an email address that I want you to email me. It's info@findfastrealestate.com. Info@, and if you're listening to this, let me spell this out for you. Info, I-N-F-O, at find, F as in Frank, I-N-D, F as in Frank, A-S-T, realestate.com. So info@findfastrealestate.com. And say, hey, Steve, saw the program that you're offering. I'm really excited to get involved with it, and let's get busy. And so if you do that, what I'll do is I'll call you back personally. We'll chat on the phone a few minutes, make sure it's the right fit for both of us, and we'll green light from there. Look, I'm going to be lighting this thing up next week, so if you're interested in getting busy, please write this email address down, because I want you to email me. We're going to be starting this program next week. Okay? So really, for me, the bottom line, we're solely focused in making you more successful than you've ever been before. Like I said, I'm not trying to sell you a program. We want to be a catalyst in changing your life. We want to be a catalyst. My personal mission is, and I tell my close personal friends this, is that when I'm dead and gone, I want people to say, wow, that Steve Hall guy, when I work with him, when I connect with him, he made a positive impact in my life. He made a positive experience in my life, and that's what I feed off of. And so if that's what that you want to do, is to get involved with me, again, that email address is info@findfastrealestate.com. Really, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over to the chat box, and if you got any questions, I'll answer them live right now. Or if you want to email me, you've got my email address as well. So I'm going to go over to the chat box and answer any questions that you've got, and go from there. So I don't see any questions, so I'm guessing everybody's good. I'm going to hang out here for another minute or so and make sure everybody's cool. But if you do have any questions, feel free to do it. I'm live here, and I can see your chat. Don't see anything that's coming up. All right, well, again, I appreciate you spending the last 49 minutes with me, and I look forward to potentially connecting with you soon. So thanks for being on the call, and make it a great day. Bye.